too.
I have to go to the eye doctor. It's ridiculous.
So I don't know if it's on there. Is it on there?
Did it say you went live?
Yeah. Yeah, it's on there.
Yep. Yeah. You got your computer muted so they can't hear me, right?
No, they shouldn't hear because you're on my phone.
Oh my god, that looks so good.
Isn't that cute?
Mm-hmm.
So let me just share this.
But you got 10 people on.
Oh yeah. Maybe they can't hear you. I hear you on the background.
Oh, yeah, they can. It's 1 o'clock.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me, everyone? Say yes, say no. We're trying a new little thing. Oh, perfect. You can hear me. Thank you, Debbie. So, hello, everyone. My name is Dallan Flint. I am a CUNE Academy trainer. I am going to teach you guys a little bit today about social. I'm sorry you don't see my face. I wanted to be able to share this PowerPoint with you guys. I think it's very important information. This will be easy for you guys to screenshot. Um, if you need to take notes. I am super excited. I do have Jessica on the other line, so if you guys have any questions as we go, we will be able to answer those for you. Jessica, do you have anything that you'd like to say? Good morning to everyone.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon. So happy to see all of our extended family on here. And
Yeah.
excited for today.
Yeah, thank you, Jess. I'm so excited as well. When Jessica asked me about teaching a little bit about social, I kind of wanted to, I took some time and just kind of thought, like, what's the most important thing? I think that everyone has their own little niche of their own social that they like to do, such as, um, let me think, such as like having their own way of doing things, if that makes sense. So, with that being said, this is my way of doing social. This is what has worked for me. I always say that there's 5,000 ways to get to grandmother's house, and this is just my way to get to grandmother's house is through the social that I've learned, some apps that I like to use, and just some kind of the content that, because I think as humans, and I think Jessica can agree, social media is a full-time job in itself. It is definitely to a point where we're trying to build a clientele, we're trying to build our brand, we're trying to do A, B, C, and D, and sometimes it just gets a little hectic, and sometimes we just get lost. So let's just dive into this real quick, and we'll start going from here. So today's agenda, what I'd like to do is, I'm going to talk to you guys about how I create my content, what works for me. There's 4 easy steps that I kind of go through to kind of think of like, what am I going to post next? Also, 8 tips to build your brand as a brand ambassador for CUNE and also for myself with my salon. I try to make sure that I am consistent and growing myself, and not only growing myself as I'm trying to build a clientele. I'm trying to build a brand with Kuhn. I'm trying to build myself out there, getting other gigs and stuff that I can do to create content, such as I posted one images for instant for a competition, and I got a free trip out of it to Milan. So I think that was really cool. So I wanted to share that with you. I'm going to also go over some apps that I absolutely love using for my content. I've gotten to a point now where it is really, really simple and easy for me to get to. Um, by saving some presets and stuff like that. And then towards the end, if you guys have any questions or comments, I would love to answer those. Again, Jessica is on the other line as well, so she can help filter out those questions as we go through. So, with that being said, this is my first slide, and creating content. These are some steps that I use constantly to create my content and for my feed. So the first one is personalize your content. So what I like to do is, intros to who I am. I know that I just recently got a drone, so I have been posting, that I'm getting into some drone work and some film work. I've been introducing my family slowly, and etc. So the cool thing about this personalized content, what this does is it just gets your audience to know who you are. I think that's one of the biggest things in social media is really understanding who we are as a person. I think one feedback that I got a while back when I started changing the way I was doing my social is everyone's, we love your work, we love what you're putting out there, but we don't know who you are. So when I heard that, I was like, well, I'm really funny, and B, I am really, really loud, and C, I just like to have a good time. So with me putting a little bit more personalized content on my feed and for my social, through my stories, through my posts, that has given me an opportunity to get for people to know me, and I get to know people as well, because when I'm posting something on my story and it's something funny, people will comment, I come back to them through the DMs, and it just becomes a conversation. So I actually get to know people instead of just a number, because at the end of the day, like, yes, I may have 20,000 followers, but at the same time, to me, I don't think that really matters. I think what happens for me is that it's more of connecting with people. I think that's where social media was made to be, is to connect with people. And now, you know, and this is just my opinion, I think social has kind of gone a little crazy at times of, especially what's going on in the world right now where it becomes political or, negative. And I personally don't like to post anything like that. I try to, state facts and stuff like that. So personalizing content, I think that's a huge number one thing to do. Your light content. So what this is going to do is like fun facts about you, some funny stories, kind of throughout your day. This is so your audience can relate to you. So your followers can relate to you, they can understand, that you're a human. I think that's another thing too. Like I said, with the personalized content, some people just want to know that you are a human. I think that everyone sees me traveling and doing all these wonderful things, but at the end of the day, like, I have the same struggles, the same self doubt, the same, like, am I good enough to post this on Instagram? And I think that we're just human. So being able to put fun facts and funny stories and stuff like that, just again, people can relate to you as your audience and like, oh, that person is going through the same thing, or they went through that, experience, or they messed up on that client and this is how they fixed it. So again, it does bring you back to being a human factor, which I think is really, really important. The trust content. So trust content for me is more education and valuable information. So if you guys have been following my stories lately and my Instagram, I've been doing a lot more videos and a lot more educational stuff. I think that's what I would like to do more going forward with my brand, is to do a little bit more educational stuff, because I think people see on my Instagram that I am continually posting photo shoots and publications, but at the end of the day, like, if I'm not teaching people how to get there, then I don't think that I will be able to gain trust with people such as my followers. So that's what that trust content comes in, is it allows your audience to build trust with you, to be able to ask questions, to be able to communicate. And I think that's another thing too, again, that's really important. I think sometimes when we have these influencers or social media gurus, I think sometimes they forget to connect with people, and that can be, a deterrent for people to unfollow, to not communicate, to whatever it may be. So again, trust content is allowing you to trust your audience. Again, it's more educational, valuable information that your followers will love. And then storytelling content. So this is a little bit more for on your stories instead of more of your posts. Is posting behind the scenes, befores and afters. This again will help make your audience realize that you are a human. You are a human, and that you are doing the same thing that they're doing behind the chair. Again, I think I do get a lot of people like, how did you get to where you're at and what you're doing? And I think for me, I haven't shared the tears, the trials, the frustrations that I have sometimes as being a salon owner slash hairstylist, because again, I haven't been able to really find a way to share that and get that across without being negative. So for me, I've been slowly trying to find more happier, positive stuff the storytelling to kind of create a little bit more of a content. So these are the 4 steps that I really use for my feed, for my stories, and just again, sometimes I think again. Instagram is a full-time job, so I think sometimes we forget like what am I going to post today and how am I going to post. So when I get to that headspace of I'm not good enough, no one wants to see my posts or anything, I always go back to these 4 steps and think, okay, what have I haven't posted? What have I posted for a little bit? What, what can I post now? And this just kind of helps give me a roadmap to where I need to go and what I need to do. Does that make sense, Jess?
Total sense. This is great information, Dallan.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And again, I just wanted to, this is my way of doing things. It's not, the right way of doing things. This is just what has worked for me. And trust me, I have trial and error a lot of plenty of apps and things like that. So this is just 8 tips on building your brand. So this again, TikTok is becoming a big thing right now. Obviously, our Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook, I think, those are our huge social media outlets. But TikTok has gotten a little bit um, bigger on the mainstream, especially what's going on in the world right now. But the cool thing about TikTok, what I like to do is create short videos. And this is kind of what I've been doing on my own TikTok that I could share with you guys is, the first step is posting constantly. So if you look at this one, it says if your audiences of the Blitz says 6 stories, you want 3 posts, why not? One Instagram video a day, you've created a certain level of expectation that can you live up to it for a month, a year, forever. So I think posting constantly or consistently, I think is a huge thing as well. But again, if you are going to be posting 6 times a day on your story, you're going to post on your feed 3 times, you're going to do an Instagram video, your followers are going to have an expectation. They're going to want it, they're going to need it. So I think when posting, you got to kind of think of like, where does it fit in your schedule? Where, how much time can you honestly give to Instagram? So for me, what I do is I post on my stories daily, and then for my feed, I post at my prime time, and we'll talk about prime time here in a minute. But I post one throughout the day, and what I do with that is it gives an opportunity for my followers and my audience to see my post. If I'm posting 3 or 4 times a day, I think sometimes again that can get redundant, and I don't have time for that. So I usually just post once a day, let my followers be able to see the content that I created, and then that gets a little bit more interaction and a little bit more. Um, I would say excitement for people. Again, if you want to post 6 times a day, do what you got to do. I'll pray for you because it does definitely get a little stressful and crazy at times. And then number 2, keep a close eye on your content, seeing what your clients like most, or your audience. And for me, what I've noticed on mine is I think video is going crazy nowadays. I think that video has really helped people understand, and it's a little easier to do step by steps as well instead of just a still photo. Um, Keep a track on what hashtags work for you. I think that's another thing as well, is that the hashtags are basically a little roadmap to help find you. People can Google Dallan Flint on Instagram and like a hashtag, and I use my own Instagram or my own hashtag as House of Flint. And when you tag and use that hashtag or any hashtag that you create, that if someone Googles that into the search engine for on Instagram, anything that you have posted with that hashtag will be there. So again, keeping close contact, post consistently. Again, if you're going to post 6 times a day, that's really on you. You're more than welcome to do it. But again, I don't think that you're going to love that as much. I think you're going to get actually a little stressed. So on number 3, we're going to jump onto this next slide, is it's remix and reuse your posts. So what I have done sometimes, especially during this pandemic, it's been a little hectic trying to create content or do photo shoots because of social distancing. And what that is going to do is when I have taken some old posts, like just yesterday, I posted a video of just being yourself. And, sometimes we just need a reminder. Posted that video about a year and a half ago. And felt when I was going through my own Instagram, creating this social media class for you, I was like, oh my God, I really love that video. It reminded me that I am something and something special. So I just reposted that. So using old content can work for you, but what you're going to want to do is change your hashtag, change your caption, those kind of things. If if you look at the bottom, there are some simple ideas of remixing your old content. So, turning your videos into GIFs or stills, which you can make it into an image. There is also turning, your series of photos into a slideshow or a video. Um, what I like to do sometimes is, instead of me posting three images at once, what I have been doing now is doing more of a carousel. How that carousel works is there's three photos usually, or up to how many photos you want, or video. And what that will do is, let's say that Jessica has been on Instagram at noon today, and she saw my first image. What will happen is, if I'm getting content, or if I'm getting like comments and likes and some interaction with my feed, what will happen is that next carousel image number two will come through, and she'll see it again at, let's say, 3 o'clock. So when doing carousel, it kind of gives you a little bit more of an opportunity to really get your content out there. So using carousels has really helped me as well. Using multiple images from a photo shoot, using different poses, or different angles of that, you can do as well. Obviously, a throwback Thursday never hurt nobody. We all know that. And then obviously redesign your images and for your stories. So there are some apps that I will go over here in a second with you about how to use those apps and how to create some different content with using some old posts. So then the next step would be number four, which is reward your audience. People love to be reposted. People love to have a little shout out. So for your audience, and so for your followers, what I know, George Alderetti is really good at this, is he will take other people's content and repost it on his feed. So how that will help him and help that other person is, it gives them a little bit more of an interaction connection with each other. And George's followers will see this person's content, and from that content, people can click on that image or that story and follow that person and create more of another interaction. So then it becomes a ripple effect. So, when you get reposted or you're reposting other people's works, it definitely helps out you, and also helps out that other follower as well. And again, people like to feel validated, and people like to see their work on other people's pages. So I know George already, like I said, if you guys don't follow him, follow him. He does a really good job at doing this step, is sharing other people's work. And then number five, I like to collaborate with people, especially here being at the salon. Sometimes I think when we are a little slow, or another stylist is slow, I always like to grab one of my stylists and help them, or have them help me. And we either create content together. It could be a photo, it could be a boomerang, it could be a video. But this again helps show that we are human as human beings, that we can connect with people, and that it's not always about ourselves, that we can allow other people to be on our page. I think it's also really fun to create different content. Your content will be on their page, your content will be on your page, and so the back and forth, and it becomes more of a community, instead of, oh, it's always about me. And I think collaborating and rewarding your audience, I think these are two huge factors for social media, because it definitely does grow each other, and they say two heads are better than one. So then number six is build quality relationships in the old fashioned way. And what I mean by this is, I mean, don't take shortcuts. And then I'll show you here some best practices that you can do. Um, you want to gain relationships with people. So doing polls on your stories, asking questions. But if you're going to ask questions, like, respond to people. And I think that's another thing, is I've seen people where they'll ask questions or do a poll, and then you never hear anything from them, or they've dropped the ball. So then it becomes pointless, and then again people start to unfollow because they don't think that you're special, or they don't care, and da 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 da. Your DMs, engage with your audience. So if your audience are asking questions, again, I know George already is really good at this as well, is answering those questions and helping out a lot of people with formulas, or if you're cutting hair, or if you're visiting and someone wants to know what you're eating, like those things, like a lot of people love those, and again, it makes you human. Reply to your comments quickly. So if anyone is commenting on your images, they say within the first 3 minutes is the best time to respond to those, because what will happen is if you're not responding, you're not getting enough engagement on your page. The more you engage with your post, the more it's going to be on people's feeds, and the more you're going to be able to gain a following, and then to be able to start sharing more. And so comments is a huge thing for comments, and likes is huge for social media. It helps with the algorithm, so your feed and your information gets out there a lot faster and quicker. So again, it kind of does the job for you when you're doing that. And again, how hard is it to say thank you, or commenting like I miss you, little things like that, to your audience? I think it's great. And then just a pro tip, I know that there is an app out there called Social Blade where you can see where people have bought in, or actually bought and just comments, likes, and follows. Again, please, this is just my opinion. Don't do that. I think, again, it just shows that you are not real and you cannot connect with people. The worst thing about it is the algorithm of Instagram will see you, and then your actual followers will also see that, like, hey, let's say I've gone from 1,000 followers to 5,000 followers overnight. Like, that's unrealistic. And again, just keeping it authentic and real. I personally think I've done a really good job of doing that and showing who I am and what I believe. So this is just a pro tip. I think, again, people will see you, they'll clock you. I know I've seen this happen before. So, and then 7, using hashtags properly. There's an amazing app that I'll share with you guys here in a moment that I absolutely love. It definitely does the job for me of finding hashtags that are trending. It will literally change your life. So I can't wait to share that with you guys. But be honest with your hashtags, be relevant, whatever you're doing. If it's you're working with your brand, if it's hair related, if it's drone related, if it's restaurant related, find those hashtags that will help you build and push your brand out there. You don't want to put, hashtags that are misleading to what you're doing or how you're doing things. So, um, hashtags are huge. You can actually hashtag up to 10 in your stories, so your stories can get out there farther. And I believe it's up to 30 hashtags on your comments still. So I'll kind of walk you guys through. I'll show you what my Instagram looks like after I'm done with how I do my hashtags and so forth and so forth. And then posting on a timely manner. So what I like to do is through my Instagram, there are insights of when your followers are on and when your followers and what times, if they're men, women, what age. It's a really cool little feature that I absolutely love. And so what I like to do is like just go out through the week. I start on a Sunday and see like where is my time, where is my prime time to post. For me, my prime time is usually in the morning. Anywhere from 9 to 10:30, and then anywhere from 1 to 2, which is weird, and then not again until 9:30 at night, and then sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning. My following is usually comes from either like Japan, um, Asia countries, because I've done a lot of stuff and tours out there for um, Japan, and so it's weird sometimes. Again, like my timing will be different, so those are usually when I know when I need to post. There are scheduling apps that you can use that will help you post at those times, so that if I'm sleeping at 3 o'clock in the morning, like I don't have to get up, set my alarm, get up, do a post, fall back to sleep. There are apps that you can use, and I'll show you what those are here in a second, that you can do scheduling. They do cost a little bit, but at the same time, if you are that person that just needs help scheduling and just have someone basically, post them for you, that's really what this app does. You set it up at the beginning of the week. You take an hour or two on a Sunday, set it up, and then you set up your times and everything like that. And then from that point, what will happen is you will get your post scheduled, and they'll post for you whatever time you want. Do you guys have any questions so far? Am I going too fast? Am I good, Jessica?
No questions right now, but you could slow down just a tad if you don't mind.
Okay, I can totally do that.
That'd be awesome.
Not a problem. And then, so what I'm going to do is go into these apps that I absolutely love. So Facetune. Facetune is great for if you're fixing up blemishes, if you need to whiten a background, if you need to smooth some skin. This Facetune, I believe, is free. Facetune 2 is not. This is, again, quick. You can whiten up teeth, you can whiten up eyes, blemishes. It is an amazing app. And I think what I like about this one the most is my clients love this as well. Um, I think we can all agree sometimes our clients don't want their photo on our feed. So sometimes we post the back of the head. I usually will tell them, hey, if you don't mind, I'm going to do some face tuning, going to add a little bit of makeup, soften your skin. And then as soon as I do it, they're like, oh, I love that. And then they're like, okay, you can post it. So Facetune's a really good one for your clients if you're going to do forward photos of them facing, smiling, whatever that way. Retouch is another great app. So let's say you have a flyaway or you were on a background and you see a smudge that you don't want on the background. You're like, man, I wish I could get that out. What Retouch does is literally you can click on the, let's say if it's a smudge on the background, you can click and circle it and you hit go. And what that retouch will do is it'll actually remove that blemish without you having to re-edit your whole entire photo. So it's literally more of a quick point touch, edit, boom, bada bing. Lightroom is a more professional app. If you're into photography, a little bit more, I would say, difficult to use, but if you can get it down, it's great. There are contrasts, you can do brightness, you can do aperture, you can do presets, you can crop. This Lightroom is literally like a mini Photoshop on your device. So again, Lightroom is just a little bit more difficult, but I wanted to put this in there for those who are getting into photography, um, that want to up their photo game a little bit. Lightroom is definitely one of the best out there. Um, Splice. Splice is my video editing app that I like to use. It's very user friendly. They just did a huge update on this, and they have given you more music choices to lay down. They've given you more options to do voiceovers for those tutorial videos that you like to do. You can crop and change your, if you want it to be landscape or if you want it to be portrait, if you want it to be square. Again, Splice, it is free. There is a pro side of that, which is $5.99 a month. I use the pro side because it just helps me. It does definitely give you a little bit more options on creating more effects into your videos, if that makes sense. Again, that one's just more of a trial and error. Now, I was talking about hashtags. Tagomatic is going to change your life, guys. I'm telling you that right now. With Tagomatic, what that will do for you is you can, let's say, if I've done a blonde um, balayage, I can literally type in blonde balayage, and what will happen is it will bring up every trending hashtag that has to do with a blonde balayage. You can literally copy and paste this into your Instagram. So instead of coming up with your 30 original hashtags, this will literally help and save so much time. I know I shared this a while back at a class at the academy, and it literally people was like, "You've changed my life. It's been amazing." And I kind of laugh because it definitely has changed my life as well. Because coming up with 30 hashtags, that's a lot of time and a lot of like, ugh, it's just a lot of time. So then airbrush, what I love about airbrush is, let's say your client has come in from the gym and they have, you just did this most amazing, beautiful blowout, did a beautiful color, and they're like, I don't want you to post anything because I don't have makeup on. What airbrush does is it actually, there's a magic button that you can hit on there when you download it. Now this again, this one, Airbrush is free for a few basic things. It is $1.99 a month if you want to use it for the pro side. But what I like about the pro side is you literally can hit this magic button and it will throw on makeup, it will slim out the face, it will soften the face, it makes them look realistic without you doing a lot of editing on the face. Um, I think that we can all agree that we've seen some photos on Instagram that have kind of been a little over edited and you almost kind of wonder what happened to the face. Airbrush will not do this for you. Literally hit magic and it will change your life. so easy and so fast, and the clients love it too. So I was
So
talking.
Dylan,
Yeah, go ahead.
oh, sorry, I have a question.
Yeah.
Let's if we can go back to Splice. I hear a lot of people having challenges when it comes to music, like it'll get flagged and things like that. So when you were talking about them having a larger selection of music, are these appropriate? It won't get flagged.
Yeah, so what Splice does, that's a really good question. What Splice will do is they basically make their own music that they own. So when you buy the app, you basically own those songs that you can use for your videos. Now they do have an option for imported music from either your iTunes, Spotify, I believe Amazon Music as well. Um, and how that works through Splice because you purchased this app. Instagram will allow you anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds worth of someone else's music. After that, you do not own the rights for it. So with owning Splice on your phone and by paying for it on your phone, you were allowed to post those on Instagram without being flagged and without having the issue of, it says, I know I've had it a few times where it says appeal. Um, and if you get those appeals, and so let's say that you've bought something off of iTunes and you use that music, you post it on Instagram and you get a flag saying, hey, do you own the rights? If you've purchased that music from iTunes or Spotify or wherever you're buying your music from, you can appeal it. What that will do is the appeal will go to Instagram. They'll do some research and making sure that, that it's not over the 60 seconds, it's within their guidelines. And as soon as it's in with their guidelines, what will happen is you will get the approval to repost. Um, you'll get their approval to do the post. And so I think that's kind of again, the Splice does that definitely gives you a little bit more options for music. So with this update, I think they did, 400 new songs on there. So you have a pretty big selection of songs on there. But again, if you're going to use your import, from Instagram or whatever, you're allowed to do that through Splice. And that's the only way kind of you can get around it. Did that answer your
Great
question?
information.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, great information. I mean, that's it seems to be a number one challenge out there.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like finding, obviously, you don't want to steal people's music, and that, even on your stories and stuff. And the new thing is on Instagram, it's called Reels. It's kind of like a TikTok thing, Instagram's way, and they will allow you to do up to 30 to 60 seconds worth of someone else's song as well. So Instagram's getting a little bit more, I would say, give you a little bit more leeway with using music now, and then and same with Splice. And I just one thing on the music as well, just as it's coming up in my head, is that if you are going to create music for your stories or reels, you have to be a content creator instead of a business profile. So some people have reached out to me and said, hey, I can't get music on my stories like you do, or I can't get music on my posts. Sometimes, and I don't know why they changed it, but it's from when they went from business, because you used to be able to get on a business. Once they switched over to creator content for influencers, it will remove off the business side the music side. So if you want music, you'll have to switch it back to a creator content. It will still give you your insights and your analytics for when to post and those things, but it will kind of also, like, if you use your Instagram to book. So for myself at the salon, we use Square appointments. It doesn't give me the link to book it anymore. So again, it just really depends what you're trying to do with your social and where you want to go with it. Especially using, music. It's a it's a tough one. You're right, Jess. It's literally like the death of me. I'm like, oh, I just want music, but then I also want my clients to post or to be able to book on
Sure.
my Instagram. So it's kind of like, where do you want to go? What are you trying to do with your content? So the next thing that I want to talk to you guys about is these next 6 apps. Unum is a scheduling app. Those are what I was talking about that don't have the time. Unum is $12.99 a month, and it will do your schedule posts for you. It is phenomenal. This is what my wife uses for her layout as well, for the salon. This Unum will actually, you can literally, I think it's up to, on the free side, you can do, I think, up to 6 photos. And then on the professional side, it's endless. But what you can do is you can start laying out your posts. You can schedule your posts, times, dates. You can put your caption in there. You can put your hashtags, everything you can do through this app. You schedule it, and then let's say I said at the beginning of Sunday, you sit down for an hour and a half, you just do 7 posts. You can schedule it. It will post for you. You don't have to worry about it. You set it, and it's literally a life changing experience because obviously posting all the time is crazy. Story Swag is a really good one. I know James Helton has been using this one a lot for his Instagram. I kind of shared this with him. Story Swag, which was really cool, is it will spice up your story. So it has animation. It kind of has a layout where you can literally click and drag your photos. You can change the fonts. You can change the wording. It's free. It's awesome. It's if you guys have heard of let me look it up right now. Let me see what it is. Word Swag. Word Swag is kind of like where you can lay words over photos. This is Story Swag, so it's kind of the same thing, but just more for your stories. Um, the Teza app is one of my new apps that I have been enjoying lately. I just found this through some friends. I know some friends have been using it for quite some time, and I just downloaded it. There are some free ones on there, but the cool thing about the Tez app, I think it's like $5.99, I believe. For the pro side, you can actually throw filters. You can make it look vintage. You can make the video like the speckles and everything. It's a really, really cool app. And I would say if you're going to throw filters over photos, I would say don't throw filters over hair photos. No one wants to see that. I think what people want to see is the real authentic hair. I usually throw filters over if I'm doing a video, if I'm doing more landscape photo work, stuff like that, changing it up. So the Tez app is great for that. I don't know if you guys know who Tez is, but she is a huge social media influencer. She's actually from Salt Lake City, Utah. I know her husband. I used to work with him at Apple, and they have created this amazing app and just this amazing lifestyle by just using simple little things of social media. So you need some inspiration on who to follow and like kind of follow the way they're doing things. Teza is a really great one. You can just find her on Instagram. She's amazing. She does stuff with Aldo, Canon. It's crazy. She's amazing. Photoshop Express is another kind of high tech editing app. So these next 3 ones that I absolutely love, I love Dropbox just because I can store my photos. I can bring them down from the cloud, put them on my phone if I need to. Um, but Photoshop Express and Procam are the most difficult apps I use. And what I mean by that is Procam is literally like a professional camera. It will shoot up to 8 times a second of photo, so you can get more of those still photos if you wanted to do some cool editing. You can change your ISO, you can change your aperture. It's literally, if you're going to get into photography and you don't have the budget to get an expensive camera or just to get a camera in general, Photoshop Express and Procam will up your game. And again, Procam is just like using a normal camera, high end. It does everything. I absolutely love this, especially if I'm traveling and I don't have, to lug all my camera equipment. I use this app all the time. It's phenomenal. I love it. Um, do we have any questions, comments, concerns, anything from anyone?
Not right now. I think everyone's just really engaged. And this is
Awesome.
great information.
I love that. I wanted to show you guys real quick through my side of things real quick on what my Instagram looks like. Um, let's see if I can switch this.